what's up? Driving back to Sacramento from the Bay Area. Can't see family real quick, but today I want to talk about a very important topic. How do you know if boxing is for you? How do you know if boxing, at least as a career, is for you? Well, this one should probably be a long one, and this is probably going to be my first video. I'll probably have to make a few videos on this exact concept or this topic because it's a really good one. And I feel like a lot of the modern boxers don't really understand like what this is. So to give you a little more background, I've been boxing for 19 years now, going on 20 this year. So I think you could say I'm well seasoned. I've had 150 amateur fights and 7 fights as a professional. So I've been in the game long enough to be able to tell you, or at least, well, that's not true. I can't tell you what it's going to take or how you will know, but I can show some insight and maybe offer some guidance. So boxing, first and foremost, is arguably the most dangerous sport in the world. Yes, I think it's more dangerous than MMA. But anyway, at least professional boxing. I'm not talking about amateur boxing. I mean, even amateur boxing is super dangerous. But how do you know it's for you? Well, first of all, you have to ask yourself. You have to first. I think the first things first. You have to have been in the gym for a while. You've had to have taken at least several punches to the face, to the body, anywhere you must have at least faced some kind of injuries. You have to go through all these things because if you never go through them, they're inevitable. By the way, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have an injury. You're gonna get hit to the body. You're gonna get hit in the face. It's inevitable. Even Floyd Mayweather, all these things happen to him. But the reason you need to go through these painful moments is because boxing is very painful, both physically and emotionally, but especially physically. So you need to go through these things, and then that's gonna be like step one. Okay, can I even take this kind of punishment? Because boxing is all about punishment. Like, that's all that it is. You take punishment, you give punishment, and obviously there's more to it, but in a nutshell, that's what you're dealing with on a daily basis. I'm not saying you should be sparring every day and getting hit in the head every day, but it's gonna happen very often, every week most likely. So, can you take a punch? That's probably step one. If you can take a punch, all right, cool. Let's move on to step two. Step two is take into careful consideration who you are, what I don't know what kind of upbringing you've had. Physicality wise, are you tall? Are you short? Are you lengthy? Are you more on the smaller size where you have more disadvantages? So really take into consideration how hard is your boxing career gonna be, just physically speaking. Me personally, I actually never knew this, but I have like really short arms. Like, my limbs are short, so like my reach. That's why I'm an inside pressure fighter, is because my best game is on the inside. So if I can get on the inside, my reach is gonna be shorter, so it's gonna connect a lot better for me. And you might miss and you might hit over the top of my head because I'm in your face and you're just trying to hit. You're trying to hit me, but I'm too close to you for you to hit me. So you have to figure out, is there a game plan that you can follow to where you're gonna have a successful enough career, and really, like, you need to understand what your limits are and what your advantages are and what your disadvantages are. So you really need to learn and understand your body in order to have a successful career. Because if you don't ever understand that, which is something I thought I knew my whole life, but very recently I'm learning a lot more and more about my body just physically, which has been both good and bad. But mostly good because I know what my limits are and I know what I'm capable of and I know how to use those disadvantages to my advantage. So that's step 2. Figure out what your style is. And if you can find one, then cool. Let's move on to step 3. And these aren't even in any particular order, by the way. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. You have a USA Boxing registered coach. And honestly, anybody can have a coach, but like you have somebody that you can trust in with your life. That this is a big one because it's your life, you know. You need someone that can pull the plug if things get too ugly or you start taking too much punishment. You need a good coach that you can trust in, almost like a family member, like somebody that's blood related to you. They don't have to be blood related to you. It's probably better if they're not, but you need to be able to trust them that close because, again, you're playing with your life right now. So if you're going to trust that person, your corner, you're literally trusting your corner, at least in professional boxing, with your life. So, I mean, honestly, in amateurs too, but we're talking about professional boxing right now. Do you have a coach that you trust in, that you've trusted for at least a few years? You've seen how he does work with people. He's got good references and all these things. If you have a coach that you can trust in, then, you know, more power to you. More power to you because, you know, you can't have, I mean, you can get a decent weight, but eventually you're going to hit a roadblock where you need that high-level coach to take you to the next level, or you're going to be stuck and you're literally just going to be an opponent, or you're going to lose a lot of your fights. And one of the last things, probably one of the most important things, is do you really want this? Think about this really, really deep. Really, really deep. Do you really want to do this boxing thing for the rest of your life? Because there's 1,000 millions of ways that are significantly easier to make a living. Like, you gotta really think, why are you doing this? Why are you putting your body through this punishment? Why are you, like, risking your life? Not arguably, you are risking your life. I think it says on the contract when you sign it that a very high possibility of physical harm or bodily harm. I forgot the exact wording, but you're literally like signing your life away every fight. So, are you willing to go through this? Are you willing to go through the weight cuts? Are you willing to go through the late nights, early mornings, the road work? The weight cut, oh my god, the weight cut is terrible. That's another thing too. Like, go through a weight cut, and if you can manage being hungry most of the fucking time, which is not easy, that's by far the hardest thing, in my personal opinion. I'll take a punch all day, I'll take a body shot all day, I don't care. But when I can't eat, oh my god, that is the hardest thing for me. Like, it is, I'm a fat kid on the inside, so I love food. So if you can make all these sacrifices, on top of this, also throw in no partying, no drinking, no smoking. You have to limit the time you spend with your girl. You have to limit, like, it's just really a whole bunch of sacrifices, to be honest with you. I'm honest, at this point, I'm trying to discourage you from boxing because it's so damn hard. But, you know, you gotta really ask yourself, can you really picture yourself doing this for, not for one, not, you can't do it forever, but like doing it for a very, very long time and going through so much pain and so much sacrifice and so much enduring just so much brutal things, both physically and mentally? If you're sure this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, then more power to you. But that's really the most important thing, is are you willing to show up every day? Are you willing to put in the work every day? Are you willing to manage your weight for the rest of your career? Are you willing to sacrifice all these things? Because boxing is not just a sport, it's a lifestyle. So if you're willing to live the lifestyle for the rest of your young career, keep in mind these careers don't last very long. Probably shouldn't be fighting more than like age 35, to be honest with you. So it's a very short career, at least for boxing, because our bodies go through hell and back multiple times. So if you're willing to do this, if that's worth it to you, and keep in mind the money, unless you're a smart motherfucker like me, well, yeah, honestly, unless you're a little bit ahead of the game outside the ring like me, to where you know how to make your own bag without the fight purse, you just gotta know, I gotta let you know, you're not gonna make any fucking money unless you're so goddamn talented that you got signed off straight off the Olympic team. Okay, yeah, of course, you're gonna make some money no matter what. But guess what? That's not the case for most people. Definitely wasn't the case for me. So, if you're okay with not making shit, this all sounds terrible, I know, but I actually do love boxing. But if you're able to make the investment to where you're not gonna really make shit until way deep in your career, I'm talking about once you get 10, 15 wins under your belt, then maybe you start making some real money. You go up to 8-rounder, 10-round fights. Everybody's gonna get 10-round fights, but if you get to 8-round fights, you're gonna be making a decent paycheck. But if you're okay with not making hella money, going through all that pain, making all those sacrifices, and just living the goddamn lifestyle, if you're able to like even visualize that, then I think you should do it, because boxing by far is the single most rewarding thing to experience in the world. I'm talking about winning in a boxing match is the single most rewarding feeling in the whole world, bro. In my opinion, I'm biased, of course, because I'm a professional boxer. But I've had beautiful girlfriends. I've gone on trips outside the country. I'm 27 years old. I've experienced. I still have a lot left to experience. Obviously, I haven't had no kids. I haven't been married. I haven't done any of those things. So you could arguably say that I'm still very inexperienced, but I've experienced my fair share of things to understand how much in love you have to be with this shit to actually want to do it. And I know I'm in love because I can't say every day, but most days I don't want to train. But I still show up because I operate on dedication and just enough motivation. So if you think you can show up when you just don't want to, I'm telling you, it's gonna be some days when you just don't want to show up. You just don't want to you just don't want to get on the road and start running. You just don't want to start. You just don't want to have to miss out on that party. You just don't want to miss out on eating that dinner with your family because somebody's birthday or something. You just got, if you're willing to let all that stuff go and make the sacrifice for the sport of boxing, then let's get it. I think boxing is one of the most beautiful things in the world. I think boxing teaches you a lot of life lessons, again, both inside and outside the ring. A whole lot of discipline. It makes you a better person overall. I haven't met like maybe 1 in 100 boxers will be like actually bad people. Like most fighters, actual fighters, are the most nicest, most humble people in the world. I know that might sound like bullshit, but no thanks to Canelo making it look bad. No, I'm teasing. But I love Canelo. It's just he's obviously a little bit cocky, and as he should be. He's multi-division world champion. But anyway, most fighters are super humble, super sweet, super nice people, and that just comes from being in the game for so long. We have the utmost respect for just people in general. So to wrap this all up, if you think you can make the sacrifices, if you think you can show up every day, if you think you can see yourself doing this for the rest of your life, if you can make this, again, sacrifices, but it's just it's a lifestyle, man. If you're able to do all these things and letting literally everything else go, because boxing is extremely demanding. I cannot do this and something else. Oh, last thing, if you can handle being broke as shit. Luckily for me, I figured out how to monetize this shit, so I'm making a lot more money than the average fighter in my position is making. But that's due to my hustle, my sponsorships, and my IQ outside the ring. For most fighters, they don't make shit. Even 10, 12 fights in, they're not really making shit. So, I mean, the smarter ones, the ones that have a good manager, the ones that are a little bit more business savvy, they probably do. I'm not the only one, obviously. But if you're doing this because you love it, you have to love it, man. You have to love it, and you have to be able to train, even though that you hate it, like you love it. If you're willing to make that sacrifice for the rest of your honestly young life, because you're gonna retire at like 35. After 35, I wouldn't even say you're that young. If you're willing to sacrifice your young life, your young adolescent life, your young adult life, and put your mind to work and your body to work, then yeah, I think you should do it, because again, boxing, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful things in the world, and has brought me so much happiness, a lot of sadness as well, obviously, like with anything else. But boxing has been so inspiring to me, and here's why. Because it doesn't matter how, like for example, basketball, where you have to be super tall and athletic, or like I don't know, like football, where you have to be really fast or really agile, or like just have some kind of natural physical ability. In boxing, anybody can find their own style, anybody can find their own success, so long as you put in the work. However, someone like me, I have to work 3 times harder than.
In about 10 miles, continue onto US 50 East towards Sacramento.
I have to work 3 times harder than, maybe an ordinary person, because of my limitations, my size, my short arms, my slow speed, my weak well, I wouldn't say weak punches, but just not like naturally devastating power punches. So I have to literally be perfect. If you're willing to live a perfect life for a short amount of period of time, and sacrifice even having a relationship sometimes, because sometimes most women can't handle being with a pro boxer. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So God bless any woman that is willing to deal with this. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I mean, there's times when I don't even see family for long periods of time, and it's very sad. I call my mom almost every day. I travel to the Bay. I'm just coming back from the Bay right now from seeing my family. I try to see them at least once a week, because I'm always freaking training. That's all that I do is train. That's all that I do. So I'm giving it to you guys up front. I know I'm making it seem like really like negative, but I just want to be honest with you guys. It is a lot of negative that comes with boxing. But I do think it's worth it. I do think it's worth it, both financially, both spiritually. I mean, and also like just like for pure happiness. Like the thing about boxing, it's just you and your opponent in there. Of course, the ref's in there, but he's not doing nothing. He's controlling the safety of the fight, but like it's not safe. There's no such thing as a safe fight. Your corners can throw the towel in, but not until you get punched across your face. Not until you get knocked out. So yeah, boxing is both the most dangerous sport in the world and the most beautiful thing in the world, in my opinion. It does have its sacrifices. It is gonna cost you probably your whole young adult life, young adolescent life too, your whole childhood, and in a lot of cases, in my case for sure. I've been boxing since I was 8, and I'm 27 now. So that's my whole young adult life and my childhood. If you're willing to give all that up, if you're willing to show up every day, if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to live your life on a diet, if you're willing to live your life under the prison of boxing, then do it, because it's gonna pay forward 1,000 times, in my opinion. At least that's how I feel in my heart, and that's how